Hi everybody, my name is Mr. Evans and I'm Head of Sociology here at Northgate Sixth Form. Sociology is a 2-year linear course. At Northgate we follow the AQA specification, and I cannot stress enough that although some people might have studied GCSE Sociology, this is not a requirement. Looking at an overview of the 2-year course, in Year 12 we study families and households in the autumn term before moving on to education and sociological research methods. In Year 13, we study beliefs in society, crime and deviance, and a synoptic theory and methods module. Families and households is the study of people's everyday life and everyday experiences of living in a family. Families and households is a good introductory topic because it introduces you to a lot of the key sociological concepts that we're going to use throughout the course. Some of the things we're going to look at in this topic are the issue of marriage. Families and households also includes studying childhood and the changing experience of childhood for children in the UK. And one of the big debates we'll look at here is whether the experience of childhood is improving or actually getting worse for many children. We're going to look at the reasons why some people choose to have big families, some people choose to have small families, and also the rise of family diversity, for example, same-sex couples and adoption. As you can probably see already, just in topic 1, we're looking at a range of contemporary issues that hopefully you'll find really interesting and engaging. Moving on to topic 2, education. This is the study of schools in the UK, particularly looking at how different social groups perform differently in the British education system. We kick off by looking at social class differences, looking at the reasons why middle class children generally perform better than working class children when it comes to exams, GCSEs and A Levels. We're also going to apply some of these concepts to the topic of gender and education, studying the reasons why, over the last 30 years, girls have consistently outperformed boys, and also ethnicity and education, understanding why different ethnic groups do better than others. We're going to study the role and function of education. And finally, we're also going to look at how education policy has evolved over the last 100 years, looking at words that you might have heard of, such as grammar schools, secondary modern schools, free schools, comprehensive schools, academies, etc. We're also going to look at sociological research methods. For example, experiments are something that sociologists quite rarely do. That's far more common in psychology, whereas sociologists are far more likely to use questionnaires and social surveys to gather information. Interviews are another common research method used by sociologists, as is observation. Some sociologists also use secondary models of data, for example, official statistics or historical documents. And what we're going to do is apply these research methods to the specific topics that we've looked at earlier in the course. Moving into Year 13, we'll kick off with beliefs in society. We study the role and function of religion in society. We look at the idea, the theory, that religion is declining over the last 50 years or so. This theory is called secularization. But then we also look at the counter-arguments that suggest that religious belief is still strong, but it's simply changing. We look at religion around the world in a global context, the relationships between religion and the economy, for example, or perhaps the rise of fundamentalist forms of religion. The final big topic that we study in the course is crime and deviance, or criminology. We study issues such as why people commit crime. For example, is it your background? Is it where you're brought up? Are there biological reasons? Could it have something to do with your education? Is there a relationship between gender and crime, ethnicity and crime, class and crime? We look at who has the power to define exactly what a crime is. Now, you might think that it's the government, the politicians who make the laws, but in some respects, it could be argued the media play a really big role in creating and defining the way that crime is reported, recorded, and interpreted. We're also going to look at solutions to crime and deviance. This includes surveillance, it includes community-based solutions, and also a debate around prisons and the role and function of prisons in society. Some people ask me, what do sociology lessons look like? What kind of things will we do in our sociology lessons? And I think you can break this down into sort of 3 areas. Sometimes sociology will be a subject which is very much studied at a whole class basis. This might be your teacher introducing you to a new theory in sociology, some new key terms, or a new piece of research. It might alternatively take the form of a whole class debate, because many of the topics that we study in sociology are quite controversial, and we often ask people to bring their own experiences to the subject. Sometimes in sociology, you'll find that we'll work in a small group basis. This might be working with some of your classmates in terms of doing a piece of research, putting together a presentation or a handout that you're going to share with the rest of the group. And finally, as is the case with all A levels, often in sociology, we'll work individually. This might be doing some essay writing, it might be planning or doing some research, reading around the subject, or it might simply be reflecting on a piece of teacher feedback that you've received. If you've got any questions, please get in touch with me. My name is Mr. Evans and I'm Head of Sociology at Northgate.
Hi, I'm Finn. I went to St Albans High School.
Hi, I'm Maisie and I went to Northgate High School.
Hi, I'm Lucy and I went to Felixstowe Academy. I chose sociology because I like the idea of studying society and the idea of looking at the different perspectives people have on society.
I chose sociology because I'd never done it before and I spoke to other people in the year above who really enjoyed it.
Like Maisie, I'd never done it before. It was something that I thought new school, New York subject sounded interesting. I saw in the perspectives things that would interest me, so that's why I went for it. I like the fact that the subject's engaging, the teacher's lessons are engaging, and it's quite relevant to everyday life, so it gives you a different perspective of different people's experiences.
I like the idea that you can study a range of topics such as education and gender in education.
I like learning about the different types of feminism and women's equality and how that's changed, as well as the idea of learning crime and deviance later on in year 13. Doing sociology at sixth form has really heightened my skills such as essay writing, which will be useful at university.
Yeah, I agree with Lucy. I want to go to university after sixth form and essay writing really comes useful.
One of my options after sixth form would be sports journalism at university, and like the other guys were saying with the essay writing, that could be really helpful, and also the idea of helping me focus my work towards a specific group of people.